Hi everybody, it's Ima here with Josie Journals again, and I have another journal that I just completed. This is a tall skinny journal that I created, and I use Patty Lang's digitals in this journal. Those are the only digitals that I used, and it is my first time creating a tall skinny journal. It measures 11 and a half by 4 3/4. It does have a 2 3/4 inch spine. And it is a hardcover. I used a vintage ledger cover on this. And it has a total of 3 signatures. So I'm hoping that this video is not that long. So here we go. Here I just used a piece of fabric that I had coffee dyed. It's very lightly coffee dyed. I wanted to keep the cover simple and have all the yummy stuff on the inside. So here's one of her digitals that I use. I did some splatters on it. I put some brads. On the spine itself, I went ahead and made it a removable spine. Removable signatures. And so these you can untie them from the bottom and remove the signature if you want to put your own signature on there once it's complete. And I sprayed these with the Tim Holtz inks and stains. So these are the colors that I got. I used the scorched timber. I used a little bit of walnut stain, and I don't remember which other one I used. So that's the story of my life, guys. You know, I don't remember what I do. So it opens up like this. And this is the front part. And as you know, a lot of my journals have the ephemera clipped on so that you can put them, where you like them if you don't like the positions that I put them in. So on this left side, we have a large envelope. And this large envelope is from my rust boiled bundles. So it has a little tab up here. So it's very distress-like. I used a doily also from my boiled bundles. And I used the some seam binding, and all the seam bindings are from Donna Dreams. So if you don't know who she is, you might want to check out her channel. It's under well, I'll link it down below. This is one of her digitals. I also used some vintage ledger paper on here, and these are just some stickers I had from a sticker book, and I put them throughout the journal because I thought they would look cute. And so you have another one up here. This is the back side. This is a die cut that I had done. I used some inks. It's part of a Tim Holtz paper. And I splattered it with some inks. And I die cut it. So I put it here. And then, this is the envelope. Tall envelope there. All right. And then over here, you have this tag. I also use some Tim Holtz inks all on these tags. There's a couple of them in there. I did the same thing on all of them. And so you have here on this side, let me just put this over here on this side, and it's a glassine bag, and it's a pocket here. It opens up like this, and then you have a see-through kind of like plastic film here. Another one of her gorgeous images. Some vintage, backed up by some vintage ledger paper. I did a little bit of inking. Oh my God, stenciling in the back. Opens up this way. You have a little pocket here. Also some vintage papers there. Another one of her images. And so that's that. And then this is the back. The back is backed up with some of my coffee dyed paper. And then some lace up over here on the top. As you know, a lot of my stuff has, thread all over the place. I like that look. So that's why it's there. And so here we have a vintage envelope that I also, did a little bit of messing around with some inks. Here you have some cheesecloth. This is this is a frame that I had used inks on and waxes on. So I love the blue color that it gave me on here. And then this rose right here, this orange appliques, or they're not orange, they're rust color. Appliques are from Julie McDonald from KS4U. So I did use some of her laces and appliques in this journal, along with some of my laces and stuff that I dyed. So the back part, I like it grungy, guys, so I left this open, of course. And that's what it looks like. You can journal on there. And then here we have her. Look at that. Oh, she's gorgeous. As soon as I saw these digitals, I knew that I wanted them. I love roses to begin with. And so this one called out to me, and I think she's gorgeous. I did some stamping here with some of, it's a Tim Holtz small stamp. I don't remember the name, guys. So when I create a journal, I just go at it. I don't have an idea. I don't have, a theme. I don't know where I'm going with it. I just start messing with it, playing around, and start doing stuff with it. So a lot of things that I do in the journal, I don't remember. I don't remember whose it is or what I did. Okay, so here we have a stamp also. I did some stamping. I thought here on the shoulder will look not very romantic. So I went ahead and placed it here in the shoulder. And it's just a signature. And this is not Tim Holtz. I don't know. I don't remember whose this stamping is. So on this side, I wanted to make sure that I left the ledger characteristics or character intact. So I didn't want to cover this. I just used some of my coffee dyed fabric as a gusset here to make sure that I did the gusset, but I didn't want it to overlap too much. I wanted you to be able to still see all of this yumminess there. If you know me, or if you've, well, yeah, I guess if you know me, I have a quite an obsession with ledger covers. So I love using them on my journals. I just love it. So that's what that is. And then here we have some vintage lace that I used in my Rust Bowl bundles, and I just created a little knot there. You have some more applique down here. That this applique, I just used the Tim Holtz inks to grunge that up. So that's what that is. All right, you turn it over. And then on this side, you have a little pocket right here, like a little flap. So here, this is also a vintage envelope that I used some stenciling and some inking. And it's also a little bit coffee dyed. So I did a little bit of collaging there. I'm not, I'm not very, how do you say it? I don't do a lot of collaging. So I'm starting to practice on that. And little by little, I'm introducing it into my journals. So here you have another one of her tags. Some faux vintage tape, another sticker, some of my rust fabric there in the back. And then this is what the backside looks like. And this is also a die cut that I did. And so this goes in here. Oops, wrong side. I want her to be looking out. There you go. And then this is the back side. Another one of her images. Oh, actually, you know what? I was wrong. I was like, okay, now that I flip it over, this is one of Miss Tracy's papers. You don't know who Tracy is. I am going to link her information down below. I also used her papers and envelopes throughout this journal. They are amazing. Okay, so I'll point those out when I see them. So that's that. And then here I just have a vintage little saying there, some ephemera. I'm not going to open all of that up because if not, we'll be here forever. This is just some ephemera that I went ahead and clipped on there. Oh, sorry. This here is also from Julie McDonald's. This is one of her one of her trims that I grungied up as well. Well, I'm going to put that until the end. Put everything back till the end. If not, again, we'll be here forever. So this is one of Tracy's papers also that I created into a pocket. And this is what it looks like. Look at that gorgeousness. Oh my gosh. If you acquire someone's papers at all, you should make sure it's her papers. If you like the grunge, oh my goodness, they are amazing. Amazing. So, okay. Here on the bottom, I did a little bit of collaging. And then this is just like a little piece, I don't know, booklet, I guess, of some of my rust boil vintage papers that I put in there. This is a vintage doily that I included there. This is also the applique from Julie McDonald at KS4U. Flip that over. Here on the side you have more, you have some more items. Oh, I also use some of the Tim Holtz packets in here. You're gonna see a couple of items, you know, from there. So you have a blank check and a little piece of ledger there. On this side, I had to put this type of clip, guys, on this side because it's heavy. And then here you have some seam binding, some applique. I put a little dangle here. You have her, look at her, she's gorgeous. I just love Patty images. Oh, I need to put a little bit more glue there. Okay. And then here you have some stickers. This is the back side. I grunged up some lace. Same applique. And then I backed it up with vintage ledger on the back. And then you have this piece of ephemera here. And then you have a pocket right here. This is a little pocket. I didn't put anything on there, but I did some stamping here. Some like that crackle stamping also from Tim Holtz. I included some splatters. This is some of some of the fabric that I acquired from Julie at KS4U. And then this is another image of her digitals. Look at that guy. Gorgeous. All right, and then on this side, let me move this stuff out of the way, guys. All right, on this side, we have her. This is a Tim Holtz flower that I put here in the back. I just used some breads here. And then this rips out. This is one of Tracy's papers also. A little die cut there. And then Patty image here. Oops, wrong way. Sorry, guys. Patty image here. Well, actually, I don't know which way. I think it goes this way. Okay, so anyways. And then you have this right here. This is some sari silk trim fabric. And then I just scrunched it up, and this is a just a piece of paper that I included there. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to be organized here. That came off of that, so just so you know, this is one of my coffee dye papers, and then you have a Patty image there. You have this tag that is also from Tracy. You have some seam binding here from Donna, and then this is a Patty image from one of her other digitals. This is the back side. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then some vintage ledger pages. And then here you have a belly band. I just put a little piece of one of Tim Holtz little card thingies, and then there's just a random piece of scrap on a vintage ledger. I did back up all my papers with washi tape and or faux tape. This is a vintage piece of fabric. Flip it over. You have another one of Patty's tags. This is a piece of tea bag that is from my Rust Boil bundles. Flip it over and that's what it looks like. Here I just put a tag. I didn't put anything on here, but it's a tag. I also did some stamping. These are part of my Rust Boil bundle pack also. This paper right here. I put some tulle on there, and then this I just gathered some ephemera pieces and I clipped them all on there. This is the back side of that. This is also a Tracy doily, very grungy. Here I did a little bit of collaging on the bottom with some vintage music sheets and some of those little things from Tim Holtz. Little things. This is my coffee dye paper. And then on this side, I wanted to keep the center of the ledgers mainly intact so that you're able to see the beautiful images on the digitals. And so this is part of her digital. And then here I just did some stamping. This is her digital. I just applied this one on here. It says, always remember you are unique. I love that. And then the signatures, they are bounded by just this piece of muslin that I stained with the inks. So that's what this is. You can remove them. This is some KS4U trim that I included on here. Looks so pretty. This is the back side, the doily, some more stamping, some more of my paper, some Tim Holtz on there. And then you have this one here. Let me show you this image. Oops. All right, so this is her image. I just put this on the bottom. I put some some seam binding there. It is a pocket, so you can put other stuff in there. And then this is the back side. This is another Tracy paper also. Look at that. Yumminess. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so that's that. Ledger paper. This is another pocket. And then you have another quote here. It says, adore, to regard with devotion and love, to feel a deep attachment. So I included some quotes throughout the journal. This is another Patty paper. You have a prescription card here. I did some stamping on my paper. Another piece of that applique. Here you have a belly band. More stamping. Another Tracy paper here. Some KS4U trim. And then here you have a vintage envelope. I put on there another Patty digital, piece of her digital, and then another gorgeous lady of hers. On this side, I made this. I just love this image, and I didn't want to tear it up because you know me, I like tear stuff up. I didn't want to do anything to this image, so I decided to create a large pocket with it. So that's what this is right here. I just love the architecture images in this kit. And then I just added some of my faux tape there. Flips over, you have some more ephemera. And actually here, you have some of that ledger paper that I stained. I actually used the, oh my gosh, give me a second. The scorched timber on these. And I just love the way the color came out. So, and then this is part of my Rust Boil bundle. Also, I included in here. It's a piece of ledger. And so that's that. Then you have her. I did some stamping here to, I like that, like the crackle look. So that's why I did stamping on them. Another signature down here. Another applique here on the side that I crunched up. Another floral page, some coffee dye paper that I coffee dyed. This is a tag from one of her other digitals. I grunched up the, again, the sari. I put some sari there. This is part of her other digital. Beautiful. And then this is the backside where I did my inking and stuff on the tags. And then you have a black hanky. You have another Tracy paper here, another KS4U applique. I did some stamping on a vintage doily, and that's what this is in the background. And I included a stamp here, and then this is a different stamp, the cursive on the bottom. Opens up like this. I just grabbed a couple of ephemera pieces. This is also a Tracy paper. Look at that. Oh my gosh. All right, so that's a little booklet. This is the back side. This is another, again, another Tracy paper. I packed this journal with Tracy paper because the grunge just went really well with kind of what I was going for with this journal. I just love her papers. So anyway, but this is a tracing paper, so you could hear the crackle. I included this down here. That's the back side. A tag I just had laying around. I thought the color would go well with this, so I put it on there. This is some KS4U trim up here that I grunged up. A little bit of tulle, some ephemera pieces. This is another Tracy paper. Some tracing paper that I stamped on, and I coffee dyed. Some of my faux tape. Another stamp right here, and this just opens up this way. You have a vintage, I believe it's a letter, a vintage letter. This is just the die cut that I randomly had laying around. The other side of Tracy's paper, a rose, some vintage, this is part of vintage lace trim that I had, that I put on there. This just opens up this way. On this side, I did some stamping on here as the background. I did some splatters. This is also a KS4U piece of trim. Some of my boiled bundle cheesecloth that I put on here. And then this is another architectural image of Patty's, and it's a pocket. Flip it over, you have another pocket up here, another one of her images. This is part of my Rust Boil bundle. I just used a rub-on here from, I believe it's 49 and Market. A little piece of ephemera there. This is the back side. This is my coffee dyed paper. I did some stamping. Flip that over. And then over here you have a quote. Whoops. It says, you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. So again, that's another one of my quotes. And look at this. Look at this lady. Isn't she gorgeous? Okay. So that flips this way. Here you have a little bit of ephemera. You have a vintage. I love all this messiness. You have a vintage envelope. These are the types of envelopes that I like. I don't like them to be neat, nice and neat. The more grunge, the better. And then this one here is another envelope. This is also a Tracy envelope, and look at the colors. Some purple, some pink, some, oh, look at that grunge. Okay, and then I just included this die cut up there so you can tuck something on the bottom. And then this is the back side of that. And then down here, you have a piece of an applique that I had dyed. Down here you have some faux tape. I put some more crackling stamp up here and up here. And then this one opens out this way. So here you have this beautiful layout. Again, I did a bunch of stamping with the crackle on there, but I didn't want to put anything on there. So you have that. On this side, you have a pocket. You have a pocket here that I did some stamping there. I put Julie's trim. This is actually the center of the second signature. I included one of these in that pocket. And then you have this tag. This is a tag that I had gessoed all in black. I put her on there. I put some seam binding, some faux tape. This is some vintage lace. This is the back side. It has another image from another one of her sets. So that's that one. I think she turned out so pretty. Opens up this way. You have another pocket here. This is also part of my some paper that I had that I actually dyed on, and then I used a little bit of stenciling on here. I just tore it up and put it as a pocket. So here you have another one. You have some more tulle, some more faux tip, some more stamping on here. A pocket here, flips over. You have a belly band, and you have some ephemera in there. On this side, this is part of a doily, a vintage doily that I stamped on. This is a Tracy paper here. Some more seam binding from Donna. Up there, this is the back side of that paper. And then on this side, you have some more of that tracing paper that I stamped on, coffee dyed on. More stamping, signature down here. Another the other side of Tracy paper. And then here I put this postcard on here. A little bit of collaging there and there. The other side of Tracy's paper. And then a little sticker down here. Flips over. I just stamped on here. A little bit of washi tape. This is the other side of that hanky. You have my coffee dyed paper. Some more of my coffee dyed paper on a little glassine bag with a pocket. Piece of Tim Holtz paper that I had there. Made it into a pocket. Flip that over. You have another tag down here. And then this is the back side. I mean, yeah, another postcard. Some vintage trim that I put on there, that I grungied up a little bit. Flips over. You have this side of her paper, and then this side. So this is the last. This is the last signature. I layered some appliques, a part of that doily, some cheesecloth, some trim. This is a die cut that I had there that I included as well. I put a little eyelet on here, so you can put a charm or whatever you want on there. Also, I did want to mention that a lot of these papers where the ladies are placed on a cotton paper. So it just feels really nice to the touch, the texture of it. This is that cloth coffee paper. You have a belly band there. This is a tag that I made using vintage ledger that I put on here. I placed also a piece of Tracy paper on here. Flip it to the back. This is what it looks like. And then some vintage black trim at the top. This is another tag that I had played around with inks and oxides, and I put another rub-on image on there. This is a part of that muslin fabric that I used for the spine. This is the back part of it, and this is tracing paper. I just stamped on there, made it into a pocket. Flips over. This is another pocket with some more lace. Another image, another one of her images that I did a little bit of collaging on. This is the back side. It is a envelope. This is from my boil bundles, so that's why you can see the rust seeping through it. Another one of my rust papers. Some more stamping in the top. Oh, I forgot here. Oh, yeah. And then we have a little bit of vintage trim. And then another quote, it says, hold on to whatever keeps you warm inside. These are the days to remember. That is so cute. And then I have her, this is a tag I also created. Of course I created everything, guys. I keep saying I created. But anyways, I created this tag. I did a little bit, like a little snippet here. And then I had this die cut negative just thrown in there, so I decided to use it. Why not? I put it on there. This is some a gray cheesecloth, and then this is the back side of it. This is another Tracy paper. This is the other side, my coffee dye paper, and then here I put some seam binding to close this off. Wait a minute, did I make a knot on this? All right, to close this off. Yeah, bear with me, I'm fighting with this seam binding. I don't know why I did that. Okay, there we go. So this is another Patty image. This is the other side. Look at her, how gorgeous she looks. I just put a piece of ledger paper through the top, another one of my dyed papers. Flip that over. This is the back side. This is some vintage fabric, another piece of trim, flips up, another Tracy paper. And then here I did some embossing on my cloth paper, and then I just ran my ink block over it. Came out pretty cool. This is the back side, vintage paper, another piece of trim, some more vintage paper, ledger paper. Back side, this is just a little envelope, coin envelope I put in there, or whatever you call it. This is another piece of that cloth page that I inked and stamped and splattered and did all kinds of stuff on there. This is probably my favorite page. I just love the way this stamp looks on her. She's gorgeous to begin with, but I just love how that looks, and the crackling of the other stamp. This is the center of the last signature, and here I did some more ink. This ink turned out like runny, and I ended up loving it, but I used the Tim Holtz distressed paint on here, but it was just so watery when I did it that it ran. But I like it. I like it. It appears to me like I just got something wet, you know. So that one came out cool. This is the back side. This is a tag that I had done a while back that I had embossed on. I used some inks and some wax on it. A small, oh gosh, a stamp, you know, wax stamp on there. This is the back side. More ephemera, vintage page. The other side of that page that I embossed, the cloth. And then you have the other side of this. And then I did this tag, which is similar to the other ones that I did that I sprayed and stained, except I just did a die cut on Tracy's paper, and it turned out like this. I loved it. This is the back side, and then this is the closure of that. Another one of my coffee dyed paper. Here I just put it like a little booklet, and all it has is some paper in it, some regular coffee dyed. Let me just show you real quick. Some regular coffee dyed paper in here. That's all it has. Some writing space. Here's another, the other side of Tracy paper, some cheesecloth from my rust bundle. I think, yeah, this is my rust boil. I was thinking if it was my rust boil or my rust print, but no, it's my rust boil bundle. Flip that over. Some more stamping. It says "Be a Dreamer" here on the bottom. This is just another one of Tracy paper that I created into a pocket. This is the back side of that. I created into a pocket, and I just put this little thingy in there. This is the back side. The tracing paper, and then this is a large pocket that I did here, and I have her. Some more vintage lace, and then I put a vintage check in the back with a pocket, a Tracy envelope, this one, so that is, and then here I have a little pocket with some music sheet with some lace, and then I just have this little booklet in there, another little pocket on there, flips in the back, piece of trim, oops, and then this is the back side, and then this is the back cover with all that yumminess. This, I want to say, I got it from Carrie. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I got it from Carrie. She does some wonderful collaging stuff, and she had gifted me a little roll of collage, a collage roll that she had made, and I cut this piece out of there. I just loved it. I love what she sent me. All right, guys. So that concludes my flip through of the journal. I hope you liked it, and I'm on to the next one. Thanks, guys.